like the old stuff existing has been abandoned. So there's that Y catching that, and I should be coming to you on vertical.
Yeah.
So this is your lab. That one is actual, what would be, well, you could do that as stool.
You're coming in on T right here.
And then you could use this as vent.
Okay.
Or you could do whatever. If you wanted to use this one as a stool, then that's going to be no bueno. You got a tape measure on you?
I got with the truck.
Because then we'll measure off that wall, Dave, and see what the center line is on that riser.
Okay.
And that'll tell us.
Yeah. Let me give you a purple.
Yep. And then there's the Y catching the units behind you. Boom. There it is. So this is all the new ground up. So now we're heading over to 29.2. Measure off that wall to the center of that pipe. What is it?
40 inches.
So 2. So yeah, they're accounting for a 2x4 wall to be framed off this. So 2x4, which is no,
That'd be 10 inches.
yes.
Somebody thinking that for the vent?
Well, this one's further out.
Yeah,
No,
that
no,
one's-
no. Let me see that.
It's alright.
And what were you over there?
14.
14?
You're 16, right?
Mm-hmm. So that would be your stool.
Okay.
And then they're using this as the vent.
Okay.
And then they're using that as a clean out.
Okay.
So this goes over that way, hits that on vertical, and then that's going, look down that, Dave. You imagine being in here hand digging this for however many units? I told you I wasn't lying.
Why would you do
And it only gets worse because this is holding quarter per foot. So if they want to alter this, whoever takes the spaces over or all three, whatever, and they want to rearrange stuff, then you're breaking floors up.
And going down deep.
No, you could tie back on vertical,
Oh, okay. And then
because
you-
that's on vertical. Use that as your clean out. And if they want to move the stools over or whatever the case may be, then, you know, you could go that way.
Yeah. Wow.
So they were using this, they were banking on this. So they put this, they roughed this in what would have been the 2x4 wall.
Right. To run all that.
And then they allotted this for the stool.
Okay.
And then I can only assume that somebody would have framed whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and then they could have carried this line over and behind, and then
Used it for the same.
used it for the sink, yes sir.
Okay.
Which would have been too long for a dirty arm, so they would have just drilled through
Right.
at 42 inches and then went back down to catch the sink. Because on a vent, you can't make your first turn until you hit 42 inches
Above.
before you, which would put you above the flood rim of your sink.
Okay.
So that way you can't clog the vent.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then the stool would be technically wet vented off this.
Okay.
Because you'll have the new code, you know, you'll have a vent within X amount of inches or
Okay.
X amount of feet of said stool.
Okay. School itself.
So now this is over in O2. So this ground rough's been abandoned.
Okay.
So somebody could take a desk stick, knock these off, fill it in with concrete, whatever they choose to do,
Okay.
or break it up and then demolish it. But there's no tie-in for this.
Okay.
So I bet you $1,000 that's what happened.
All the rest of it too.
Mm-hmm. it could have dry rotted, and then that's what caused this whole rigmarole. But I remembered it being deep. And they didn't dig this with a machine, brother. You weren't getting a machine in here. Not unless they had all those doors out or the windows and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, because look at the cinder blocks.
Yep.
See how they look newer? So they could have gotten a propane backhoe in here when they dug this. And then once they were done with the plumbing and got the machines out of here, then they went ahead and put the window pieces in and did it that way. I bet you money. Because Tom would have been upset if I had to come in here and hand dig 3 of these by hand at that depth. I would have not been a happy guy, brother. But see, the only thing that's concerning is they took all the stacks out of